Daniel chapter 11, verses 5 to 20. It's Daniel chapter 11 is short chapter but packed with information, with history. I'm going to take 5 to 20 in one section and 21 to 31 as another section, and then 32 to the end to 36 to the end as a third section. It's packed with history. So understand that here, verse 5 of chapter 11, and the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but he shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that beget her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of the branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princess, and with their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his land, but his sons shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, and shall come forth to fight with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, and the multitude shall be given into his hand. Okay, and when, verse 12, and when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many tens of thousands, and he shall not be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall be many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fail. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount, and take the most fenced cities, and the arm of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there. Okay, this goes on for a while, the king of the north against the king of the south. So without a good commentary, it was that, what? So understand that when Alexander the Great died, the he-goat with the single horn, the horns fell off, so meaning Alexander the Great died, and in its place was 4 little horns. So his kingdom was divided into 4. For the purposes of the Bible, we are only concerned with the king of the north, which is one of his generals, Seleucus. So this was the Seleucid dynasty, from whence cometh Antiochus Epiphanes, the most evil of them all, who come against the people of the covenant and set up, and was opposed by the Maccabees. So we are only concerned with the 2, king of the north, and who is the king of the south? The Ptolemies. Ptolemy, another general of Alexander the Great, who ruled and formed the Ptolemaic dynasty in the south under Ptolemy 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And here it says here that they're warring, that they never, and in the middle is the people of the covenant. So if the south, king of the south, wants to conquer king of the north, he has to trample over the people of the covenant. So if the Seleucid dynasty wants to expand and come down south to fight Egypt, again they have to trample on people. So here, you're stuck in the middle. When the 2 elephants fight, you are being trampled over. So it changes hands depending on which king won, the king of the south or the king of the north. And here in verse 6, it says, the daughter of the king of the south. So they try, it changes hands. And sometimes the king of the south wins, sometimes the king of the north wins. So regardless, so they're being, each time each king died, they're being replaced by another king and another king. The whole idea is that this is the affairs of men. People come, people go, nothing stays forever. Even the most mighty, we hear of sometimes the king of the north, huge army coming against king of the south, but still he loses. So it's like, it's not the size of your army, really. It's about God. God, they're all pawns of God. God moves them. We think that we are in control, but they think they're in control, but they're not. So here, the king of the south gave his daughter. So so much intrigue here is so fascinating. So here, this is Daniel's vision. God gave him this vision. Does not give the names of the people. It's just the south, the north, the south, the north, and the people of the covenant. Those were all that was given to in this vision to Daniel. But later on, as history plays out, we can fit the events of history into every verse in this short section, 5 to, 20. You fit the progression of history into it, which I will deal with later on. But here, a little snippet of it. 6. So sometimes, instead of using weapons of war, fighting each other, they use romance, diplomacy. So Ptolemy the second, I think, gave his daughter Berenice to the king of the south. Who's the king of the south? I think is one of the Seleucid king, and one of the Antiochus. Let's see if I can find it in here. One of the Antiochus, let's put it this way. So one of the Ptolemy's daughter, Ptolemy the second, gave Antiochus. Ptolemy the second gave her daughter her daughter Berenice to marry the king of the north, which is an Antiochus. They're all Antiochus anyway. So we hear in history that's exactly what happened, but Daniel has already prophesied it, that the king of the south gave his daughter to the king of the north with the understanding that their offspring would become the next ruler of the king of the north. That means, wow, you have Ptolemy there, and you have another Ptolemy Jr. in the north. How great is that, right? Right. So here, it says there, it sounds like a good plan, but the Bible says, she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand. So it was, so he shall be given up. It didn't end well, okay? And they that brought her, and he that begat her. It's exactly what history says. So what does history says? So the daughter's name Berenice was given to Antiochus the second, okay, in marriage, like with the proviso that their offspring would become the next king of the north. So what happened? But Antiochus II already had a wife, Laodice. So Antiochus said, doesn't matter. My wife is going to be, Laodice is going to be my concubine. I will marry Berenice. Okay. So all seems well, but it's not so. Then Ptolemy II, Berenice's father, died, and Ptolemy III went to the throne, which is actually Berenice's brother. Okay. Now, more intrigued. So what happens when Berenice's father died? Laodice said, you think I'm going to forget this nonsense? So she poisoned her husband. Well, husband still? I don't know. Antiochus II, he died, okay? And then she went after, Laodice went after Berenice and killed her and all who came with her and Berenice's children. So the Bible says it didn't end well for her. It didn't happen like her father planned it to be. And in history, that's exactly what we see. So Laodicea now installed her own son, another Seleucid, on the throne. Okay, so there we go. And it still continues. So you think the South, Ptolemy the third, Berenice's brother, will take things lightly? No, he comes after them. Okay, so here is a So here we have Antiochus the third, which is Laodicea's son, being on the throne. So here the two come after each other. In the case, Antiochus III came after the South with a huge army, but he lost the battle. I think he lost the battle because Ptolemy III, it was Berenice's brother, and he avenged Berenice's death and slaughtered the king of the north. So, are there more intrigue? There is more intrigue. So, verse 4, his kingdom shall be broken, divided up. That's regarding Alexander the Great, who will die, and his kingdom will be broken up and divided. Verse 6b, but she will not hold on to the strength of her arm, and she shall be given up, meaning Berenice. The alliance forged through Berenice's marriage to Antiochus II did not succeed. Verse 9, and he shall return to the land, who, Seleucus the second, who tried to invade Egypt. Verse 9, he was defeated and had to return to Syria. Verse 11, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. That means raising a great multitude seems to be the work of Antiochus III, remember, the king of the north. So now he amassed a huge army, infantry, elephants, all kinds of things. So this is the north. And verse 12, but he will not remain strong. So he is trying to come after the south, but Ptolemy IV defeated him. So here, verse 14, violent ones among your own people shall assert themselves to fulfill a vision, but they will fail. So this is kind of cryptic. They don't know what it is. And here it goes, and verse 17, which we didn't read, and the daughter of the women he shall give to him to destroy it, and it will not stand to. So here, Antiochus III, took a leaf from out of the king of the south, spoke using romance, diplomacy. Remember, the Ptolemy II gave Berenice his daughter to Antiochus, but that plan failed. So now Antiochus III in the north gave his daughter Cleopatra the first to marry Ptolemy the fifth. This is verse 17. Okay, and thinking that now I'm going to insert one of my daughters, Cleopatra the first, into the southern kingdom, and maybe she will turn Ptolemy the fifth to be more inclined to us in the north. And guess what happened? Did it happen like he planned it? No, because Cleopatra fell in love with Ptolemy the fifth and did not want to fulfill his father's wishes. So here we have the insertion of Cleopatra. We forget that for a long time the Ptolemies were Alexander the Great's generals who was left in Egypt. So they ruled, the Ptolemaic dynasty ruled Egypt for a while. So Egypt was ruled by Greeks or Macedonians for a while. And the Greek daughter of Seleucus, Cleopatra the first, was sent down to the south to marry Ptolemy for the fifth. And therefore we have now Cleopatra. That's Cleopatra 1, Cleopatra 2, Cleopatra 3. So here is the first time we're introduced to Cleopatra. So wow, in this short section we covered hundreds of years of history. But it shows you that nothing in this world, however man plans, is God's plan. That's going to be worked out. We'll continue with 11. 11 is fascinating.